Tánaiste, back in September 2011, in response to the offer by Ryanair to buy out Aer Lingus, then Transport Minister Leo Varadkar he outlined the government position when he said, and I quote, "The government remains committed to the sale of the stake in Aer Lingus at the right time under the right conditions." The Minister, as you will be aware, also expressed the government's position at the time, Tánaiste, saying that the 25% shareholding by the state in Aer Lingus was not of strategic value. Now, the statement was made against a backdrop of deep concerns by tourism and business interests about the potential loss of connectivity between Shannon and Cork to Heathrow, and also some concerns about the potential for reduction in the frequency of services between Dublin and Heathrow. Now, on the Sean O'Rourke programme this morning, Chief Executive of IAG, Willie Walsh, said that the government's stated position in selling the shareholding was the reasoning why IAG entered the marketplace at this time. So he and his organisation took some succour from that stated position, and it's the reason why we're in the position that we are at the moment. Now, in response to the IAG indicative offer, the government back on the 27th of January established an interdepartmental advisory group to flesh out, I suppose, the bones of that possible deal. And then we moved on to the 1st of February, where on RTE's This Week programme, the Taoiseach said, and I quote, that he wanted a cast-iron guarantee on connectivity before the government would consider any formal offer for Aer Lingus. So I suppose, first off, Tánaiste, when do you expect that advisory group will report back to the government? Is the government, and in particular the Labour Party, still committed to the sale of Aer Lingus, as you were back in 2011? And Tánaiste, in light of Willie Walsh's comments this morning, when he said that he was prepared to give not just cast-iron guarantees, but cast-iron guarantees cased in concrete around connectivity, are you happy, and is the Labour Party happy, to proceed with the sale of the state shareholding in Aer Lingus to IAG?
Thank you. Tánaiste.
Well, first of all, Deputy Dooley.
Please, order. Tánaiste.
I've been on the record before, and I'll just repeat again that the issue of the connections to and from this island are absolutely vital. First of all, for ourselves in travelling to and from the island, and for Irish people around the world. Secondly, in relation to foreign direct investment, which you know has been significant into Ireland. And thirdly, following the effective devaluation of the euro, we expect a further improvement in income and business from tourism, particularly together with the successful development of the Wild Atlantic Way as an initiative of this government. So the issue of the connections and the connectivity to and from Ireland are of the utmost importance in any examination in relation to the bid put forward by IAG. There's also obviously the issue of employment in Aer Lingus, and I have said this before. The sale of the majority stake in Aer Lingus of just under 75%, as you know, was undertaken by your own party in government in the mid-2000s for something like 289 million. You sold off 3/4 of Aer Lingus, and you yourself, 289 million. You yourself were a senator at the time, and I think an enthusiastic backer of that particular proposition. That's how the country ended up having a minority but significant stake in Aer Lingus at 25.1%. Under the takeover rules, clearly the government has to examine any offers made. I understand that Mr Walsh is coming before the Oireachtas Committee in the afternoon, and I'm sure that people like yourself will have some very detailed questions to answer Obviously, I can't comment under the takeover rules in detail, but I can say that on the previous occasions when the issue of the potential sale of this stake arose, the issues around the connections in and out of this country in terms of Irish people, in terms of tourism and in terms of investment into Ireland have been critical factors in any evaluation, together with employment in Aer Lingus and services to and from Dublin, Shannon and Cork.
Deputy Timmy Dooley.
OK, we'll try that again, Tánaiste. A couple of straightforward questions. And of course, Deputy Stagg and others will be aware that the partial sale of Aer Lingus ensured its viability, ensured that it didn't collapse, and now has it in a position where it has increased passenger numbers, is in a healthy state, and is now the envy of other airlines. So that clearly was a decision that I stand over, and it was a positive one for Aer Lingus and for Ireland. That was then, and I'll stand over my decision because I believe it was the right one. But I'm asking you very clearly, Tánaiste, and if you give her a chance, maybe she'll answer, maybe she won't. And the question is relatively simple, Tánaiste. I'll condense it for you. Are you still committed to the sale of Aer Lingus if the conditions are right? Well, you nod your head, or you shake your head as if you never were. Well, then, was the Minister for Transport back in September 2011 expressing the opinion of just Fine Gael? He said it was a government decision that time that the stake in Aer Lingus would be sold at the appropriate time, effectively. I want to know if you're committed to that all the time. And are you and your colleagues in the Labour Party prepared, if you get the appropriate guarantees from Willie Walsh around connectivity and around jobs, that you'll proceed with the sale? Simple question.
Thank you, Deputy.
Can you answer that, please?
Tánaiste.
Well, you'll be in a position to ask, I presume, some of those questions yourself of Mr. Walsh in the afternoon. What I hope.
Sorry, Deputy.
Sorry, Deputy Dooley made reference.
Sorry, let's have respect for the Speaker, please.
I'm going to repeat what I said again. The critical factors in relation to, and we have to be aware of the takeover panel rules, the critical factors in relation to any evaluation of any offer. Fianna Fáil decided in its wisdom to sell 75% for 289 million. They obviously struck a very hard bargain. I think what happened to that 289 million, I think it sort of brought up the resources that Fianna Fáil had at the time of the 2007 election, as I remember it. The 25.1% stake that remains to the government is going to be subject to examination in respect of connections to and from this island. And as I've just said to you, and I'll say it again, maybe you don't agree, the connections are important for Irish people coming to and from the island. The connections are important for investors and people doing business in and out of Ireland. And the connections are extremely important for tourism, particularly in the west of Ireland in the context of the development of the Wild Atlantic Way by this government.
Thank you.
Actually. And that remains the key issue, along with employment in Aer Lingus, and there is significant employment, as you know, in Dublin, in Shannon, in Cork and in the head office structures, and they will be the key factors in the evaluation.